started looking around. I was like, oh, I might as well apply to the big state schools here in Arizona.
Of course.
But then I also said, okay, I lived in San Antonio for a while. Why not apply to the University of Incarnate Word, apply to St. Mary's University. And then I had my aunt who had attended the University of St. Thomas. And I was like, okay, I know about the University of St. Thomas. My parents said, well, why don't you try to apply? You know, your grandparents still live in Houston. Your aunts, your uncles still live in Houston. Why don't you go and check it out? So I said, okay. So we went, and we were in town in Houston for Christmas that year from Arizona. And we were just saying, okay, let's just drive around the campus. We drove around the campus, didn't have any kind of formal, let's say like tour or anything like that.
Okay.
But
just sightseeing,
just looking around. I said, you know what? So for some reason, this feels like home. This feels like a community that I could be a part of. Like I could see myself here for years and years. So,
it's a very comfortable environment at the university, because my son goes there.
Yes, yeah.
And it's very comfortable. You walk in and it's not overwhelming. It's not crazy busy. You don't feel like you're like this tiny speck walking through this gigantic,
Right.
it has a very home feel.
And that's what I loved about it, because I really wanted to know my professors. I wanted them to know me, and I wanted to get to know as many people as I could, just be connected with as many people as I could at the university. And I knew I wasn't going to get that at some of these bigger state schools. So
yeah, you'll just be a number.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I had that trip. I went back to school. I went to my spiritual director and I said, hey, I visited this university. I already applied to all these other universities, but for some reason, this one over here in Houston, the University of St. Thomas feels like home. And he's like, well, that's the Lord telling you, like, this is your place. Like when you feel like you're at home somewhere, that's where the Lord is telling you to be.
At this point, did you ever think that, hey, one day I'll be the one saying mass, the daily mass here at UST?
No, never. So that was the crazy. So I ended up applying to University of St. Thomas. I got in, I accepted, everything like that. And then of course, my parents being who they were, they wanted to put me through another summer program. And so at the University of St. Thomas, we have a program in the summer for incoming freshmen to kind of get acquainted with the university, take a couple of classes, get used to the college kind of lifestyle and things like that. And so my parents were like, you should do this to get ready. I said, fine, I'll do it. So July, before my first year at the university, I started taking classes there. So before any of the freshmen show up, I'm already taking classes. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go to daily mass. So I went to daily mass. First time I went to daily mass, the priest, the chaplain there at the time, he says to me, hey, do you want to altar serve? I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I've no connection with him whatsoever. We never talked before. He just kind of invites me in. He just pulled me out of the crowd. Exactly. Here, do you want to altar serve? I said, sure. So I altar serve for him. And then all of a sudden after mass, he's like, hey, do you want a job in campus ministry? I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, I've been here for one day and I'm already getting a job at this university. I said, what does the Lord have in store for me? So I said, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I ended up working in campus ministry during my undergraduate time there as a student worker. And I was doing everything from helping plan retreats to answering the phone to kind of being a sacristan at the daily masses, things like that. So I was just doing some of the basic stuff.
Imagine if you had not gone to that daily mass, somebody else would have gotten the job, right?
That's right. So like being open to the Lord and saying, hey, let me go and just spend some time with you, really open up all these other opportunities. But honestly, I would never have imagined that I would be celebrating mass there, but like as chaplain 13 years later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.